Hello, good afternoon, everybody who is joining me today for another PrePub Chit Chat. Welcome to another discussion of all kinds of things bookworm related. Definitely not fixating on Ferdinand because this is just a very serious, very professional discussion where we're not going to fangirl or spree or get we're very professional here. Welcome, Nestlings here joining me on Discord. Hello. And they said hello, and then I also
are you to talk now?
It's okay to talk. Jeez.
Are you sure? I don't want another strike.
Oh my jeez.
Oh goodness gracious. Well, while you all contemplate your life and your life choices, I shall read and greet the comments on the YouTube gang. I'm just kidding, Patrick. I really am. Hello to Emils M. Emils.
Yeah, he says you're late.
I know, Emils, you're getting a little bit cheeky, aren't you, huh? I saw you and who else? Was it Akihana? Where they were trying to do all kinds of treason against this magpie. Shame. But anyway, I do welcome you, and I did give you the early gang first comment award with my love, which I will resign now since you're being cheeky. Also, hello to Noodle Dumplings Kimchi and Nine Tails fan. By the way, Emils, thank you for sharing all your thoughts about this PrePub section. Looking forward to discussing some of them, maybe touching up on them later on as we go. By the way, you guys, I did post a summary of the what this PrePub part covered. So if you didn't read it for whatever reason, do go and click in the description. And I worked hard to do it, and there it is. Enjoy it. So yeah, Ninetales fan says hello. Cordy Bob 482 says hello, early gang. Also hello to Timonia Deville. Lisa Zalak says hi, hello. And she also says hi to you guys. And Crystal Waterstar says hello and good morning, everyone in Magpie. Finally, I could catch up on the live PrePub. By the way, Crystal, I believe you colored some images of this or the previous light novel volume. Are you still doing that, or was that just a one-off? Because I remember you sent it to me via Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So let me know, because we are going to do, you guys, we are going to do the chit chats like we used to do for the volume. It's just gonna take a little bit longer, but we are planning on covering it like before. Just saying. So if you like to color light novels and you light novel illustrations and you want to include them on the next couple of chit chats that we do, hit me up on X and send them to me, or on Discord or whatever, so I can include them. Oh, hello. What is this bright green thing? It's Patrick. Patrick says, it's okay, folks. Magpie gave us last minute. I did not. Lies.
I didn't see it until late today, and I was about to ask you about it too.
Well, excuse me. I am human, you guys. I do not have a staff of 20 people. So I have to do all the scheduling and all the things on my own. I did used to have last year somebody to help me, but they're no longer around. So there we go. Oh man. Yeah. So I try, you guys, but I'll do my best next week. Okay, I definitely will. And thank you for being so gracious to me and being patient. And here's a whole bunch of hearts, Patrick. Thank you for your support. Let's see, what else? Oh, well, where did I end up? I lost my place. Where were we? Well, early gang, I love you, and I am so thankful that you guys joined in. Today we have quite a bit of stuff to cover. I do not think, though, that we have as many talking points as we had last week. I feel like last week I was just kind of rushing us and pushing us to get like done before the hour was done.
Yeah, it seemed like there was so much to go through in that last one.
Right? Yeah, because I do notes and I take like little snapshots of quotes and stuff like that before doing this discussion. And it took me 3 hours last week to get everything sorted out for this discussion. And today it only took me like 2 or a little under 2 hours to just get myself sorted out. And I was like, cool. So happy that it wasn't too long, but I would have liked to read a little bit more, especially a little bit more of Ferdinand and Rozemyne and this ship that is not just sailing but flying the skies, and it is rainbow colored and it has sparkles because of all the divine
And the chat
elements.
was so concerned that there would be no simping.
I'm not talking about Ferdinand, I'm talking about a ship and just the beauty of the ship, you guys. Okay, you guys, you got
I
me.
mean, he touched, like, he did an anime moment where he touches the hair.
Oh yes, yes indeed.
Like, that is the shoujo.
Yes, the tropiest of all the
Standard.
tropes. And usually I'm not one for romance tropes like that. I mean, I am a little, but man, just seeing that from Ferdinand was like, whoa, you guys.
I don't think he's even realizing it, to be honest.
I was kind of reminded of earlier in part 1 when Ralph started touching Julie's hair and sniffing it because she started using the shampoo.
Oh,
And then Lutz did the same thing to Rozemyne.
that is true. I totally
Yeah, that's not
forgot about
creepy.
that. Oh, but come on,
Yeah,
they
but
were
Ferdinand
kids.
used to give her head pats. So he like graduated from head pats to twirling the hair in his hands, all sensual and like.
Oh man.
Head pats and secret hug sessions.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Stoic is being very touchy-feely in this PrePub.
And I have absolutely no problem with that, you guys. He has to stake his territory. Remember, it's all for the sake of their shared dreams of a library duchy, and he decided he's just gonna live as he wishes, and as he wishes means he's gonna protect and defend the person he holds dear. And in this case, it is Rozemyne. So
Isn't she covered in
So-
his ice though? Like all his gadgets and crap.
well, that's usually something
He's
that we
wearing.
would reserve for Hannelore. So let's that's for later. We will talk
I
about
don't think
that
at
in
the
another
moment.
time. Later, we'll talk about it.
So this is why he wants his lab to be part of her library so he can be near her.
Yes, right? But actually, it's so he can access the research materials. Come on, let's be professional here.
I will not! I refuse!
It's
I
okay.
mean, instead of actually
She can make an unlimited amount of gold dust. What do you think he wants her close by for?
Well, he doesn't want to wait 3 days to get to a research department, like,
Mhm.
an invitation to a different building.
Mhm,
So if they're all interconnected, he won't have to do that.
mhm.
Get past the whole noble
Yeah.
etiquette rules.
Just
Yeah.
another loophole.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Like, I mean,
He wants his Fae-Beast petting zoo and Fae-Beast not petting zoo. And
Fishes and an arboretum.
Lessie got its moment, but
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Lessie.
Rainbow Lessie. So starting from the very top of the chapter, we'll get to Rainbow Lessie. So if you have any other comments and remarks, don't worry, we'll have room for that. So starting from the very top of the comment, we have right after the previous chapter where they had a meeting with Sylvester, and they said, "Yo, like we need Rozemyne to like get out all of her mana, so give us some ingredients so we can make gold dust." So after that meeting, Ferdinand carried her out. And also that meeting, that's where she realized, the things, the male-female things and what she had been doing. She feels like now like an idiot. And they leave the meeting. Ferdinand is carrying her. They encounter her retainers. And she expects them to act like react in some way, but they absolutely seem to be like not reacting. Even Cornelius, you guys, what did Cornelius do? What did she say about Cornelius? Do you guys remember?
He was giving kind of looks, but wasn't really saying anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is very suspicious.
yeah, she thought it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
She thought there was something
Mm-hmm.
because he's normally like a siscon,
Mhm.
like the sister can't be around any men.
Right. So
Are we creating another Syscon here?
we are not. We are not.
I am very excited about this. Let's do another Syscon.
No.
He was pretty serious about telling Sylvester to move. He's like, move. Like, I could hear it in his voice.
Seems like he chilled out a little bit from the whole, like, when they were creating the Gusher site.
Yeah, he definitely has.
I mean,
Because he was like, in the same hidden room?
And I think Leonor and the talking with all the female retainers kind of got him up to speed. Like, this is what's happening. They are going to get married, so don't you dare interfere with the plans, okay, Cornelius? So I think he doesn't like it, but he remains silent. And she thinks that, she's like, am I the only one who thinks this is weird that he's holding me? But that's not the most important thing here. Like, well, that is important to us fans. But what's more important is the fact that they're trying to figure out ways to use up her mana. But the most important thing is without her losing her stamina. That is why they're carrying her around. Ferdinand carries her, then he passes her on to Angelica, who I hope is carrying her now more carefully than she did in the previous volume, where she carried her like a sack of potatoes. I think she's more careful.
Well, she might be an airhead, but once she's chastised on something, she tends to remember it a little bit, kinda.
Yeah, but all this carrying around is it's kind of like going back to Little Mine, if you guys remember. It's kind of another going back to that, one of those full circle things. Yeah, Jess?
I just felt the entire time like she was a ticking time bomb. And it was just like the countdown. Like I could see, that's the entire, like all this chapter, the next chapter. I was like, I could just like see her like with a timer on, and everybody's trying to stop the timer.
Yeah,
and it's not working because the timer just keeps going faster. And I'm like, are they gonna do this whole like 10 seconds left, and then she finally
she's explodes.
And then she finally like releases everything and saves the day. 1 second left.
If only it were that easy. So far, like this chapter, they were exploring ways to expand mana, and usually the things that would use up your mana like crazy amounts, like making gold dust, that should have taken care of the problem. But you guys, how did the process look like for mana for Rozemyne in this state? Do you guys remember making gold dust? How was it like?
She just stuck her hand in bags. And they collected bags of gold dust. Like, here's this bag with magical ingredients. Okay, here's your gold dust.
Yeah, she just spilled her. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I feel like when there's a shortage of food and you're in line to get your rice or whatever. I felt like that with Rozemyne, because she was sitting down and she had a line of people that kept coming in, bringing stuff for her to put mana in.
Yeah. And it's not just that they have to use up her mana, their divine mana, but they also, like I said before, have to do the stamina. Because if she, like, the longer she remains with all of that stuff, like, she begins to feel weak. Like, the day afterwards, after she expanded, like, she made all that gold dust, and she made a new a new high beast. She dyed a new high beast feystone, or whatever. She used up a lot of mana, but the next day it was back to that again. She had again, and she felt like sluggish, absent-minded, like she was like almost like when she's feverish. It was really not good. So it's a good reason why Ferdinand was really like worried. Yeah, yes.
Can I say the reason why she was overloaded even after a day?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she was overloaded because she was in basically Holy Land. She was she was in Holy Land. They said that they had to get her as far away possible from the Royal Academy, because the Royal Academy is the area of the gods, and that's why it's replenishing her mana so fast.
Yeah, I think that was brought up.
One character mentioned it. I forget who it was.
Charlotte.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
So which brings us to that Charlotte scene, you guys. There was a part where actually it was really freaky, like, and actually really scary how Mestionora messed up with Rozemyne's memories to such extent. Like, she said, hold on a second, let me see. Okay, she said, the promise of Mestionora's library had gotten its hooks into me, and now that I was banned, I'd resolved to continue living. This is for the sake of winning her over again. Like, yo, that's messed up, Mestionora. Like, Rozemyne would have never like given up her life voluntarily because she has so many people she loves and things she cares about in life. But no, at this point, because of the way she's all like messed up.
Yes.
Yeah, like.
So this shoot, Jazz, I got this one. I need to.
Patrick, please.
So this brings up what I was talking about before we started the stream. How yesterday when the PrePub first came out, she was talking about, Shu always used to call me the monster bookworm, and this is just how I was back in Japan. And then today when I was reading it again, there was no mention of Japan or Shu.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Well, I guess they did it. They had a, first of all, they said Shun, S-H-U-N. It was like a typo. They called Quaff out on it in Reddit. Quaff replied, said he was gonna go do the edit to change it, to correct it. But yeah, and now in this corrected one, there's not even a mention of Shu. Interesting. Wonder what was the choice behind that. We'll talk more about translation though. Like towards the end, I want to talk about translation not errors, but differences from the web novel. Yeah, Crazy?
Something I wanted to point out is I don't think Mestionora flat out said she was banned. I think that what she said was, I will not put you in the library while I take over your body, essentially.
Yeah, but I guess to her, it kind of was the same thing. Like, oh, I got into her bad side.
Yeah, I gotta agree with both of you on that one, because it seemed more to me that because Mestionora had such a hard time calling her back the first time, she's like, we're not doing this again. Let's wait until you actually ascend the towering heights and come to my library.
I don't think she was banned until she dies or something, or even after she dies.
I was wondering when I was reading this, two things. The thing about Shu was one of my questions. Like, I had a theory. I'm like, is Shu like a version of Ferdinand? That's what I was thinking the entire time. I'm like, I know this sounds like fan fiction-y, but it really, like, she's close to Shu.
We do know that.
It's two questions. And then the Ferdinand question is, does she still feel like connected to Ferdinand? Like, remember, like, she lost memories of the people she loved. It's a fact that she loves Ferdinand. We can't even say that she doesn't. Whether it's brotherly or whether it's platonic, whatever, she loves Ferdinand. So, but she remembers him. Yeah. So, does she have the feelings, or are they gone?
I think I've got this one. Okay. So Mestionora, when she was telling Ferdinand what she was doing to Rozemyne's memories, she did mention that the people that she'd forgotten would have to give her their mana, and that's what Ferdinand did to get her attention and be able to call her back to her body.
Oh, yeah. So she didn't forget feelings. It was just her memories got disconnected. So every feeling, every memory is still there, just disconnected. And the fact that Ferdinand was able to do the mana transfusion, that connected those things. So what she feels about Ferdinand remains the same. And he's still, right now, as of right now, he's the only person in her entire universe that she loves more than books. That's a fact. So,
and that's high praise for Rozemyne.
Yeah,
loving someone more than books.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Who actually said that she's a book maniac and the books are her one true love. So that is saying something. She's in denial. That's all I can say. She's in definite denial.
I wonder if Ferdinand wants to use her what's her name? Urano. Yeah, Urano memories. Now that she has those, like, they're closer to her now. As I would try to get as much as possible before restoring her full memory.
I would like to see that fanfic.
As to the Shu and Ferdinand, if they're related, that's a question of theorizing that we can save for later because it doesn't really go into this PrePub. But there's theories out there, and there's people who have made fanfics about Shu and whatnot. So who knows? Let's see. So we had that situation. Rozemyne and Ferdinand, after the next day, they return to Arensbach via the Lansony Villa. We see that the Lansony Villa has been emptied in preparation for Eglantine to set up her new establishment there. Oh my gosh, sorry. Irony. And then, but also we had all of these nobles from the losing civil side of the Civil War. They wanted to get her blessing or her favor just before she left. They wanted the favor of the Avatar of Mestionora. Ferdinand pointed out that probably they wanted her to give them some kind of something so that they could rise up in the ranks again. But Rozemyne didn't know what to do. She just clung onto Ferdinand, and he answered for her, told him to basically get lost, direct those questions to the royals, since that's who they should be asking for that.
About that, I actually was really upset about it because I'm like, you guys didn't even help. Like, I don't understand this. This happens a lot in in every country or stuff like that. They're not there to do anything about the situation, and then they come after everything is over and act like they know or they participated or they deserve something.
Well, some people say it doesn't hurt to ask, so I don't know, sometimes, but in this case it was just insane because first off they said, oh well, Arensbach is a disgraced duchy, and if the Avatar of Mestionora can raise Arensbach, then she can also raise us, who, then we can also benefit in some way. Again, absolutely outrageous. The audacity is unbelievable, but there you go. There's people that are just like that.
because they said that to her. I felt like they were threatening her in a way, or trying to manipulate her in a way, and I'm like, you want her blessing, but you're not even for it nicely.
Well, what Ferdinand said afterwards kind of puts it in the proper perspective, because he said they consider you a divine avatar, but will turn away from you as soon as the divinity in your mana fades. So yeah, I think you'd be right. Like they're seeking her for self-service. So good on Ferdinand for sending him off all the way, and all the Arensbach knights just shoot them out of the way. So we got Rozemyne transferring back to Arensbach. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna continue on here because we wanna get to Spring Prayer and talk about all of that goodness. So we got Hartmut receiving Rozemyne, and he's absolutely ecstatic when he sees the new high beast with the divine mana. He's like, I want to see it. Please show it to us. And we have rainbow-colored Lessie. What did people think about it when they saw it?
I felt really bad for Lessie.
Rozemyne was like, I don't like this, but everybody was like, this is awesome. This is divine. I think you should do more of this.
Well, no, she was. She was treating it like Lessie was her child, and she wanted Papa to love him because Ferdinand never loves Lessie, and he's finally seeing the how Lessie could, its potential, and he's turning her child into a monster.
Crazy.
Oh, I think you're talking about what happens later.
Yeah, we'll talk about
go
that
ahead,
later.
Crazy.
I think the statement rings true. Everything is better with RGB.
What?
Okay, I like it. I like it.
Okay, I'm now dubbing that Lessie RGB Lessie, not Rainbow Lessie.
RGB.
Yeah, RGB Lessie sponsored by Razer.
Red,
as in red, green, blue.
You know when you see like the rainbow keyboards and rainbow like desktops?
Yeah,
it's RGB.
I was
RGB
wondering
Lessie.
I was wondering if that was like because I don't know
It's
any
the gamer
gaming
Lessie.
terms. I didn't know any gamer things, but RGB is like in graphic design. It's red, green, blue. Okay, I'm glad that somebody put a meme where gamer terms and graphic design terms just kind of like hold hands for once. For once I understood something. All right. Hello,
You're like that.
S.
You're like that Captain America meme where it's like, I get that reference.
Yeah. And you know what? I had to watch like a whole bunch of movies over the winter to understand the Captain America reference. Thank you, Fergie, for that amazing experience. I get that reference now. So
in terms of Rainbow Lessie, it was described like you know how their eyes turn like rainbowish or whatever, but it's like flickering in their eyes when they get angry and they're crushing somebody.
What? Where?
Like,
that just helps the argument for RGB Lessie.
That's what I was saying, because she described it as if Lessie was it wasn't just a color, like the colors were moving and shining.
It was like a rainbow feystone kind
But that
of.
doesn't mean that was the eyes. So I have the passage right here. It says, Lessie was far cuter when he was light yellow, in my opinion, but even Grun haters welcomed the Omni Element sparkles. So it just has different colors and it's sparkly, it has high beast glitter, but I don't remember the eyes doing weird things. That's probably your headcanon.
I was just talking about in general, like when Rozemyne gets angry or whatever, she gets the 7 elements in her eyes and they flicker in her eyes.
Yeah.
But that's what I assumed the color of Lessie would be.
Probably like a shifting colory thingy?
Yeah, I was about to say that, yes.
Like swirly golden
I guess we have to wait for the anime to get confirmation.
If we get that far.
Let's pray at least that we will get that part. Oh, we'll see.
I mean, that would be when they get to that part in the manga. That would be a cover that would be a cover picture.
By that time, my grandchildren will have grandchildren, man. Oh man. Okay, so let's continue on. So we get everybody jumping into her high beast. They're all excited, I suppose. And then they arrive to.
Wait.
What's up?
I'm sorry. Did we miss the conversation about Hartmut trying to get her to name the country and
we're almost there. We're almost
happens
there.
later.
That happens later. We're gonna get to the divine instruments right now at the castle.
My bad. Sorry.
So okay, no problem. So we have they arrive at the castle. There's they have the divine instruments waiting for her. She has to charge them up with her mana. They start with the chalice, and it takes absolutely quickly. It's in an instant it gets filled up, but not just filled up with any kind of mana. Remember during the winter, it would get filled up with red liquid, and then in the spring prayer, it would pour out a green liquid depending on who you were praying to. Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't praying though, so it was a different color.
So in this case, without praying, the mana still flows. I think that it's the fact that she has divine mana. She can fill up the land or the chalice or whatever without prayers themselves, which is a good thing because every time she prays or gives blessings, that's where her mana gets out of control. So in this case, she was able to fill out. What?
I was so afraid that she was going to turn the divine instrument into gold dust.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too.
Fair.
Rozemyne's pretty much a demigod, but then I was thinking, like when I was reading that, I was like, the instruments, they're we don't know how these instruments are made, and they're very old. Like, we don't know how old they are. We don't know who made them. You know, it could be that the gods made them. You know what I mean? Who knows?
And they made so many of them to distribute to all the duchies.
Yeah, they're just very high quality ancient tools, and they were made, I assume, during a time when the Zents the Zents and the arch nobles, the
had a lot of mana.
They had a lot of mana, and they knew all about ancient rituals. So I think they were a bit on the safer side. Crazy?
Probably a time when a time when Gervasio's level of mana was more common.
Yeah, crazy.
Something I wanted to point out earlier Wouldn't Schlafstrom's blessing help with Rozemyne?
Who knows?
They said that any blessing right now is going to mess her up because
Blessing that she gives. Not, I don't know about blessings given to her.
well, she's pretty much a demigod right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do gods need blessings? That's the question.
Well, that's something that
Well,
we can.
her environment certainly asks for them.
Well,
And he's
her
basically a demigod too.
I think what she needs is not. It's not sleep that she needs. That's what you would get from Schlafstrom. Yes. What she needs is healing. But either way, if it were a viable thing, probably Ferdinand would have brought it up if she needed healing. But they didn't. They're trying to play it as safe as possible, I think.
Well, I think the thing is he's never developed a potion that just heals stamina and not mana. She doesn't have access to a potion that just heals stamina.
Yeah.
Even the stamina potions heal a little bit of mana, and that's they have to avoid that at all cost.
He actually mentioned that he had the ability to make a potion for her, but he did not have the time to do it.
And actually, he had to research a little bit more to come up with it. Because
they're on a time crunch right now.
Yeah, they are on a time crunch. So she fills up the chalice, and they're like, "Okay, we have rainbow-colored liquid. Will this work for spring prayer?" And Harmut's like, "Let's test it out." So what do? They dump out a little bit on some grass nearby.
He tossed it out the window.
Yeah, basically. And all the nobles that are around it, they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." Because the flowers are blooming and the grass looks greener than before, and the nobles are praising her virtues as a divine avatar. And she actually gets kind of worried. She's like, "Yo, these people, they're so fixated on my divine avatarness. When I become a regular Joe, like back again to being a human, they're totally going to disregard me. They're not going to take me seriously. Are they still going to recognize me as an ob when it's gone?" So she had that little bit of worry. But what happened? What did Hartmut or Clarissa or anybody around there do something about these worries?
So first the Arnsbach nobles were saying, "Oh, with this mana, she's going to purify our sins and cleanse the duchy, and we'll be restored to old Arnsbach." So then Clarissa and Hartmut are like, "Hold on a second. Do you think your sinful duchy is worthy of being cleansed? Hell no. We're gonna remake it into our own thing."
We're gonna bulldoze it and build a new thing over it.
He also said, "I guess I didn't teach you enough."
Cracks the whip.
He also said
and the brainwashing continues.
He's like, "You need re-education."
And I love how he and Clarissa are such a power team. Like, she rejoins. She says, "Now you have two choices: cling to your Arnsbach roots and face punishment, or worship Lady Rozemyne as vassals of her new duchy. We must not have taught you well enough." And I love it. Like usually it would have been funny what they say when they get crazy, but here I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's good. Like, let them know that the fact that Rozemyne is there to become their ob, she's there to prepare a library city that shall rise the moment Arnsbach crumbles.
They also stated that we're not paying for your sins. We're not Arnsbach. You guys lost your country or your duchy or whatever. It's going to be a new name, a new duchy, and Arnsbach can go to hell, pretty much.
Yeah, but basically, yeah.
Rozemyne.
But are they going to use
Rozemyne.
her?
Hold on. First Crazy and then Jess, please.
Rozemyne's gonna build a new duchy with libraries and print workshops.
Yes, all kinds of wonderful things. Jess?
Repurpose the internet.
With her mana currently right now, I was wondering because well, I'm not going to discuss what happens later on until we get there, but
please.
in terms of like reconstruction, I was wondering if Ferdinand's good, because they construct the duchies out of the ob, right? Like the ob constructs and she's it's going to be a new duchy, so she's going to have to reconstruct everything.
Isn't that what all the golden powder's for?
Yeah, I remember that a lot
all the
of
gold dust is for.
I don't know how that works.
Well, we'll
partially is going to be used
Because,
to refix this
when
estate that she destroyed, and the other part is for building the duchy.
So, Jess, you're gonna have to wait to see about the Antiquan they do later for those questions. And but remember also that a lot of the estates of the nobles, they got ransacked, and maybe they were damaged during the Lanzanavians' attacks. So we don't know the extent of the damage of the city has taken. Maybe they also messed up some of the commoners' port. We don't know. We'll have to wait a little bit later until we know the particulars of that. But we do have in here the discussion about the new color, the new desired crest, the new name, and that's exciting actually. I'm sure that going.
Yeah, Ferdinand wanted it.
I'm sure that going.
This happened later, when they started going around to do the spring prayer.
So here is where Hartmut and Clarissa brought it up, and then later on.
Oh right, my bad.
Later on. She and Ferdinand, because at this point she's getting excited about what she's gonna name it. She thinks, oh, maybe Alexandria, and she lists reasons why. It's an ancient port city with its very own library and gardens, or Venetia, the trade city that accumulated more bookstores than anywhere else in the world after printing was invented. So she is like getting excited about that. And that's when Ferdinand comes and she's like, oh, Ferdinand, what are we gonna name it? What do we name it? Venetia or Alexandria? He's like, what? Like right now we have to do spring prayer? Hello, we can talk about this later. So she's
did she actually think they were gonna accept Grun? Grun as the animal?
Venetia or whatever was that one or whatever. Ferdinand's like, yeah, that sounds like Lanzanave. Yeah, we're not doing that. And he didn't like Alexandria, but because he wanted a name that connected Ehrenfest to their duchy.
Yes, but she was
I need to make I think I need to make an important distinction. He said it wasn't. He didn't say it was similar sounding to Lanzanave. He said it was similar to a word they used in Lanzanave. And I want to know what that word is.
I like that detail that the Italian city would, be closely correlate to a Lanzanavian word.
Yeah. So we know that the people from Lanzanave, remember the names of all the Lanzanavians that came over. We have Leonzio, we had Gervasio. They all kind of have like an Italian name, sounding name. So probably Ferdinand knows or has heard enough of the language to have identified some of the words from there. So yeah, that's definitely something they want to stray away from, associations from the people that try to take over Jugendschmidt. But for now though, like when he shuts down that discussion, he's like, we'll talk about it later. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll just ask the gods instead. And she kind of does like this eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing though. I think they used Ibdidu, the gods get to choose. And she said she was going to pray about it. And he said, enough, do not pray to the gods. Just
no, you fool, stop praying!
Right? He's like, just submit a name only once you have shared with us its origin and your intentions. So she has to think about it a little bit more. Enough about that though, because they do have to get into spring prayer. Oh my goodness, we only have 20 minutes, so let's finish this part, you guys. So where did they end up transferring to? Do you guys remember?
Bindewald.
Oh buddy, long time no see. And what does Bindewald look like now that it's been shut down?
Well, for one thing, there's no longer any screeching ladies.
Thank goodness.
Probably looks like the Nightmare Before Christmas right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it says that the estate was closed. The servants have moved to a neighboring city, and it would just stay like that until she assigns a new Gib, which would be after the Archduke conference. And that's where they set up camp, in that place. And now let's talk about Rainbow Lessie again. What happens here when she brings out Rainbow Lessie? Who wants to
Tell
can
Lessie.
I please?
Yes, Jazz, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so she brings it out and she makes enough like it looked like the bus from Harry Potter with the beds and stuff like that. But Ferdinand wasn't having it because he's too good. He's too good for that. And so he pretty much made her do a hotel. And the thing is, she was so happy at first. She's like, he finally sees the value of Lessie. All this time he kept complaining about it, but now I get to say I told you so. And pretty much at the end of it, it doesn't even look like a Lessie anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a vehicle anymore.
It's like Castle in the Sky, pretty much.
Like House Moving Castle. I think somebody on Reddit did a House Moving Castle with
Yes.
Lessie. Oh, I love that.
Just a giant RGB house.
RV.
Like it had its separate rooms and all this. I'm like, how big are these rooms? Because there's a lot of people. This is not just a little. And he's like, and they need to be separate floors. They need to. I'm like, he was like an architect the entire time. I'm like, yeah.
Very particular instructions.
And they only get to use this once because once Rozemyne gets rid of that divine mana or whatever, she won't have enough mana to run that thing.
Yeah. It's not that she won't have mana, but her color will be different. It's all about the color you dye it. So... But it's incredible. By the way, I'm showing right now. I showed all of Jass's memes. Thank you, Jass, for the memes. I appreciate it. And Red Tempest, if you're listening, darling, we miss you and take whatever time you need. And thank you for the memes you have done for us. And hope to see you soon. I'm also sharing.
Come back to us soon, Red.
Yes, Red, you're missed. And I'm right now sharing some of the memes that from Cadasterized, directly from the Reddits. So I'm just putting them in there. That way you guys can see them while we talk. So, okay, so we have
Convertible Run High Beast.
So we have them setting up camp. And I love how it seems like all of her people, they're not like, they're amazed, but they're not like, oh my gosh, flabbergasted, because anything at this point, they're so used to just used to all the insanity. So it's just another Tuesday for them. And so we have...
Yeah, that's just like when they used that sword and everybody was freaking out.
Yeah. And so we have them start spring prayer. How do they do it? Basically, she hops on his high beast and he flies over the land. Now, was there a particular way they did it, or did they just go, whatever? You guys remember? Like an order.
I know they went to like a commoner's area, like the fishing area, and the only reason I remember that is because Rozemyne kept talking about the fish, and she's like, "Look at the sparkling water," and I get to eat so much.
Yeah, she overdid it.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, she overdid it in that place. Yes.
The thing was, before she did the gave mana back to land, the land did not have sparkling water. It was like bad water, murky water. And then when she did the spring prayer, the water like came back to life and was sparkly and fish jumping and and all the fishermen were like, yay.
Yeah.
I wonder if the fish look different now after she healed it.
There's just fish. There was no fish. Now there's fish, living dead. So there was a method to the madness, you guys, because she wanted to immediately dump the mana into the nearest farming town. And Ferdinand was like, not so fast. We should prioritize the land that's away from the settlements, like the mountains, the forest, just far-flung places. And do you guys remember why?
It's
so
because it would attract Fey beasts.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Fey beasts.
The Fey beasts would be attracted. So the Fey beasts are also starving, so they would go into human settlements. We don't want the people to be attacked by by Fae beasts or have to fight them off from whatever little crops they have or whatnot. So she's like, you're right. So let's just avoid casualties and fly into the mountains and the other places.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, on a practical level or whatever, it would make sense for her to go in the rural areas because that's where their food comes from. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah, that duchy is having issues with just about everything right now.
Yeah, honestly, I also thought that they should actually go to that would have been the first place. Like, go to all the lands that they're trying to grow crops. Go and dump them in there immediately. But no, Ferdinand, like several times has had to in these recent volumes to put the brakes on her initial reaction. And in this case, I would have also done the same thing. Like, let's go feed the people. Let's make sure that they get food and a good harvest soon. Yeah.
Was it in this like time? Because in the PrePub, I got the feeling that Rozemyne is feeling like she doesn't have control over her own choices. Because she did talk about, she's like, oh, I don't get to make a decision.
We'll talk about that a little later, can we? Just because I want to finish the spring prayer and we only have 10 minutes. But that's fair. I mean, right now her memories are still not connected, so she has to trust a lot on what Ferdinand says. Luckily, though, she trusts him like explicitly and implicitly, so in some points she has to yield to what he says, though she probably doesn't like it. So they have to fly around. There's an issue, though. The chalice it feels really heavy after a long time from carrying it. So after lunch, she's like, yo, this is super tired. And they figure, you know what? We're just gonna have to tie the chalice to her. Like strap it against her stomach or whatever. Apparently, you guys, it's 80 centimeters tall. And that's actually bigger than I imagined it. I was surprised at how big the chalice was.
So Magpie, you gotta remember the big chalice that she was praying to when she was a kid during her first spring prayer.
Yeah, I know, but it still doesn't look like an 80 centimeter chalice when you see it. It really doesn't look, because they could fit it within a bag or something, and yeah, I don't know. I was surprised. Maybe I'm the only one. Okay. Again,
So I was kind of with you at first. I thought she was using the handheld chalice that they prayed to during the winter prayer and all that. But then I thought more. I'm like, no, she's probably thinking about that massive one that she prayed to and poured out for the commoner villages.
Wow, that's like almost 31 and a half freedom units.
Freedom units. I love it.
So it's like a yard. It's almost
yes! Down with the metric system!
It's
just short of it. Yeah, that's like over
like a yard.
Feet. That's huge.
It's huge, isn't it? It's like yeah, it's really big. I was surprised, you guys. Though it does say that it's not as heavy as it could be once she fills it up with mana. But still, it's really huge. So no wonder she needed a little bit of a break. By the end of the day, she was absolutely exhausted. We do have a little funny bit with Strahl and Hartmut and stuff like that, but you guys can read it or we can save it for later. She returns at that rate, though. If they continue to do that, it would take her 5 days, you guys, to like deplete all of her mana. So that even though this is a lot of mana that she's using, dumping it out on the world, it's still not a good solution. They have to find another way, a less tiring method, because she's just not going to survive with her stamina running so low. So, but of course, that's for next week's PrePub. Finally, they sit down to talk about what we already talked about the new country, about the new duchy and the name.
Well, there was a little thing before that.
If it's about Strahl,
no,
you mean the hair thing?
Hold on.
Hold on a second, not yet. I'm not even at the hair thing yet. What is it, Patrick?
She's lounging in Lessie before Ferdinand shows up, and she's trying to remember things. And she started to feel a little anxious because, well, we already know.
Mm-hmm.
And she realizes that her anxiety because of her divine mana would be a very bad thing right now, and she has to force herself to stop thinking about it. And she was, in my mind, I'm thinking, she's so close to remembering Dad.
She was close to remembering Thule. She says my hairpin craftsman and dye are apparently included in people she cared about. And then she's like, well, it's not impacting me, so
yeah,
at least there's that.
He got real aloof real quick.
Yeah, it sucked when she said, like, well, that's not important. More importantly, let's discuss the city, or let's discuss that. I'm like, no, this is important. Rosamyne, please remember. And I can't begin to imagine how Ferdinand feels at this point, because he's also worried about not just the implications of what it means to forget her family, but just her being on a ticking time bomb at this point. And I just,
yes,
all the responsibility, not just of her life, but of all her name sworn, you guys. But
that was mentioned multiple times.
Yeah, and
he had to remind her of that.
Yeah, and I do see him like kind of, he's doing an effort. I feel that he's purposely, or he's making an effort to not scare her, to not like make the situation dire, because again, it's all of these emotions that would make her mana, like anxiety would make her mana stir. But I think like the situation is far more serious than we thought. Again, this is Rosamyne's point of view, so she tends to be unreliable. I just want like POVs where like we see the actual gravity of the situation, because I'm sure that there's still stuff we don't know.
Yes, and her being an unreliable narrator comes in clutch in this next part. So let's get to that.
Yes. So, oh, by the way, Thomas70 says the problem comes when she does remember her family if she still has divine mana left. She'd literally explode. I mean, how dare she make me forget my family, right? That's the worst nightmare scenario. We don't want that. So, okay, yes, let's talk about the name discussion. We'll talk about the memories later. Towards the end. I'm pushing as much as possible because we want to finish this. Let's see. So they talk about Alexandria. They talk about the world before. Like he points out the fact that she is more attached to the dream world, or the memories of her past world, than she used to be before. Which means that the strongest memories of the past that she has is not her life as a commoner, but her past life as Urano. And that's pretty interesting, and it does answer the questions that we had in the previous, like, I don't know, in one of the chit chats we had before, like, does she remember her life in Japan? Now we know for sure that she does remember Japan. Again, because during that life that she lived there, it was a life where she valued only books, so that Mestionora kept that intact. That little hussy. Honestly, you guys. I
have a few other choice words for her, but yes.
So they talk about that. They finally decide on Alexandria. And then they talk about the color, you guys. What color are they going to choose? What color? Black?
Well, this gets to one of my favorite parts of this PrePub, where Ferdinand starts stroking her hair and talking about, why don't we use, since you want a close to black color, why don't we use the color of your hair? It matches Mestionora's, and it was blessed by the god of darkness and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, we know what you're doing, buddy.
I think what's funny is when she like destroys the mood by saying, I wish to use Lessie for a crest, and he's like, oh hell no.
Yes. It was big.
Like, we were in a mood, and then she crushed it.
Yes.
I
like how she chose.
Then he says, well, just ask your retainer's opinion, and she asked them, and they're like, no grunts.
They're all like, yeah, let's go with the Shumils.
It's like, you have to put a gem in the Shumel's forehead, so you know it's not a Shumel. It's the library Shumel. Big difference. One has a gem in its head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it Leonore or Lisa who suggested this scythe?
I think it was Lita.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah. I thought it was
Judith.
Judith.
Nah, Judith is back in Ironfest right now.
Yeah, but Ferdinand seems so shocked that he went into this like rant about future generations. Like, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong? Like, she really pissed him off. He's like, I gotta stop this before it begins.
Oh man, I was blushing a little bit when they were having the conversation, and then Rosemine's like, "Aw."
Like,
Yeah.
the lines that was really funny. He goes, "I shall not doom them to bear grunts on their chests for the sake of your strange taste."
So I mean, no, as I read this, I always highlight all of the parts that I enjoy. So I shared with you my little highlights. I put it on PrePub. So I highlighted the heck out of this part because I loved it, of course. But yeah. So he's like, if nothing, like one of the lines that I like is like, well, the pity is that if we did the color blue, it would no longer stand out against your clothes. And she's like, thinks like, hey, has he always been the kind of person to just reach out and touch someone's hair?
Yes.
No, no, Rozemyne, you're the only one, and it's only been a recent development. And then
this is why I love her being an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, but then he does that anime thing where he brushes a few strands out of her eyes.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yes. But see, here's my point, you guys. Here is my point. The web novel does it differently. So I don't know, like web novel readers in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I even brought it up in my own phone. It says different. Let's see. She's like, Ferdinand who touches his hair like this. And then he says, what happened, Rozemyne? And she's like, no, nothing. Since the color of the territory is the color worn by all the nobles in the territory, it doesn't matter if it suits my hair or not. So then she says, to be honest, I don't care about the color of the territory. And then it says, while keeping Ferdinand's fingertips touching his hair at the edge of sight, I argued, the coat of arms should be Lesser or Lessie. At that moment, Ferdinand's fingers separated. So in this one, she kind of like was trying to keep his hands in her hair like within her side of vision, but she was not looking directly. This is the web novel, and it's so curious how in the light novel, it's actually Ferdinand going to her face and like pushing back errant strands of hair out of her eyes. Like the difference of translation, you guys. I was like, he did not do that because it's way more PDA-ish in the light novel and this new one, and I'm just excited.
I actually felt that the author was like literally teasing us because you get excited and then Rozemyne goes and ruins it.
Yes, of course, like, it's on brand. Oh, Ferdinand.
I was like, they totally did that.
Yes,
she's right. So I love how while he's touching her hair, he's talking about, oh, but if we go with the color of your hair, then it won't stand out against the color of your clothes anymore. And he seems very regretful about this.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but we need to remember that Ferdinand actually described how beautiful Rozemyne was when they were in that chamber or whatever.
Of course.
Yep.
He's absolutely.
Yep.
He knows she's beautiful. He admits he's beautiful. Yeah. So
until she
admits he's beautiful.
Until she opens her mouth, she's beautiful.
Yes. And it says what she said about Lessie, that Lessie should be the crest. It says Ferdinand pulled away at once, his arm recoiling like a snake. Poor Ferdinand. Yeah, way to kill the mood, Rozemyne. Oh my goodness, I would have loved to. Somebody write a fanfic where she doesn't open her mouth and say something so dumb.
I want to know what her retainers were thinking when they saw them that close and then him just recoil like that behind
Yeah, because they're using anti-eavesdrop devices. And
yep.
Yeah.
and you know.
I'm pretty sure they knew that she probably mentioned Lessie. She probably mentioned the grun.
Yeah, but
I mean, after she brought it up, afterwards.
Like, I'm going to have a lot of work as a regent because she's crazy.
In the best of ways. Crazy in the best of ways. All her craziness has made it possible for them to have an absolutely dramatic change in their life trajectory, you guys. If it hadn't been for Rozemyne's insanity, none of this, even though it's right now troublesome, but none of this would have been possible. And yeah, I know he has to suffer, the
Ferdinand
headaches.
wouldn't be here.
Yeah, Ferdinand would be dead, or he would, at best, he'd be stuck in the temple still, and Veronica would still be the queen of Aramfest. So he has to pay the quota.
That's how married couples are anyway. They annoy each other.
Yeah, and I think they'll be okay. He'll be okay. He's fine.
Two crazy people together.
Yeah, I remember he never picks a battle he can't win. He'll be fine. Ooh, that means that he will woo her. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the implications of this. Okay, hold me back.
So I do have to
fighting how to raise the children.
I do have to say.
It's 5:02. Yeah.
Miyakazuki's past as a romance novel writer does come in very handy in this part.
Wait, what? She's a romance writer novel? Wait, she's a romance novel writer?
So when she's talked about her past experience with writing, she mentions that pretty much everything she's written before was romance.
She's a sister.
You didn't see that in her Q&As?
I did not. Oh my gosh.
You need to go back and read. Come on, girl.
That's a whole bunch of Q&A that I had to get through.
Even when they convince her about not using the grun, she's still it's still in her mind like, I can't believe they don't let me use the grun.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not bad.
She's very attached to it, but unfortunately everybody overrules her. What is she gonna do? She's
been fighting since she created it.
It's an absolute shame that red pandas are not as cute in this world as they are in our world.
They just don't exist. They think that they're freaking grunts who smell like miso and who are hissing and who will attack people. And they're vicious animals. When freaking red pandas, have you seen them? They're adorable. They get scared by a freaking rock and then they rise up with the little paws in the air and they look adorable. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, it is time for us to end this discussion. It has been super fun. Remember to join us next week as we see even more measures that they take to help Rozemyne get rid of her mana. Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be part 6. I should say that there will be more chapters, but it could be that they'll do an epilogue in this one. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. Anything else you guys want to say about this part in PrePub? Your favorite parts or remark anything?
The illustration looked like they were on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like luxury jet.
I also noticed that the illustration still makes it look like she's glowing very brightly.
I mean, she still has the divine mana in her.
Yeah, she just can't
so
sense
she
it herself.
still has Ferdinand's namestone at this point. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to be around her. Right?
Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised he was allowed to disagree with the grun thing. She could have forced the subject.
Yeah.
I wonder if that protection extends to Eustace and Eckhart then.
I don't know. Maybe.
Doubtful.
Maybe in a way, because he's surrounded by her mana, and then they're surrounded by his mana, so in a smaller extent, maybe.
Shame.
So, you guys, before I go, Emil says Magpie forgot to plug again. I will plug again. Shameless plug.
Like, subscribe,
comment, share. Also, if you want to support me,
join the Ko-fi.
You can do so.
Join us, crazy people.
Join Zent.
Join us. We have great plans for activities and stuff. You can also help me come up with scripts and stuff. I'm in the middle of working on 2 scripts. So, you can do... There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do here. Or if not, just support me to support me. You can do that. Either way, whatever you end up doing, whether it's liking, subscribing, commenting, or sharing this, or, buy me a Ko-fi, all of that is appreciated. And all of that just fills me with joy.
Everybody, I know that Magpie won't say this for herself, so I'm going to say it for her.
What?
Go into her catalog, watch her videos, like, subscribe, comment, engage with her videos. She needs that engagement.
Subscribe with alt accounts.
She absolutely needs this engagement. Help her to grow her channel.
3 accounts per person.
Darlings. Yes. So I do have the only thing that I because I was bummed out was the light novel chit chats, the live ones, because I was like, yeah, it's gonna be cool, but they just didn't get pushed out into the world. So if you want to share them or see them again and comment with those, do so. They're there. They're fun. And yes, we are returning to the light novel chit chats. Just bear with me, you guys. It's
about darn time.
It takes a while to make those, you guys. So I have I have here a scholar, crazies in the chat. He's gonna help me with the outlines so we can have them for that. And again, I am requesting anybody who wants to color light novel illustrations. I will be using those and featuring them on the chit chats. So hey, we're still doing it. We're still going strong. Lots of stuff to look forward to after these pre-pubs are done. I'm still gonna be very, very, very active. So don't miss out on any of that, you guys. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Oh, you guys, I have something to say. You know what I did? I told somebody at work where I work about A Sense of a Bookworm, and they said they might check it out, but yeah, we'll see. I'll let you guys know. It might be the very first person I can convert to Bookworm, and I'm excited. So we'll see. Anyway, that's all
I believe you convert every one of your viewers as a converted person.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. But you guys found it already. You guys already had converted either by the anime or the light novel or whatnot. This is a person who is like out in the world, you know, and it might mean that I have somebody to talk to in the flesh, like about Bookworm. So I'm
the greatest gift.
Yes.
So long as you don't neglect us.
I would never. I get so lonely when I don't get to have like conversations and stuff.
Sacred friendship.
Yes. All right, you guys.
In the voice of Morgan Freeman, the wild magpie has finally found her soulmate.
Aww. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
Yes. Thank you so much,
I
you
can't
guys.
do his voice.
Thank you so much, you
His
guys.
voice is too good.
He gets a freckle every time he explains something, by the way.
Oh, no. All right, you guys. I'm going to end the discussion here and then, the live, and then we'll just continue over on the Discord. So hang tight, you guys. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining the live here on YouTube. Be sure to join me next week. And also, and if you want me reading more books, I do have an alternate channel, the Chattering Magpie Reads. I am reading Jane Eyre, which is amazing in my opinion. If you want fun times, I am doing live reads Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and sometimes on Sundays. So go there and have some fun as well. Okay, that's the last of my plugs, you guys. Nestling, say goodbye before I end the chat. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, chat.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.
chat.
Bye.